Say something, Geralt.
Trust me, you don't want to hear it.
So, as expected, the release of The Witcher 3's REDkit has opened all kinds of new and exciting possibilities for the modding community, and today I shall cover one such creation. It is an attempt at restoring a deleted and extended section of the game's ending, one that revolves around possibly the biggest unresolved thread in the main story, specifically the fate of the Lodge of Sorceresses. Currently, none of the official endings give us any clue as to what happened to the Lodge as a group, or to Phillipa, Fringilla and Margarita separately. Regardless of who rules the north or what happened to Ciri, it all remains a big unknown, never to be answered. And what I'm about to show you today are, at the very least, the initial steps at resolving this plot before the developers decided against it and instead chose to leave it all shrouded in mystery. We will go over some massive revelations, such as Yennefer betraying the Lodge to their deaths, essentially, after they helped her find Ciri, the reactions of Cerys and Hjalmar to their father's death, and more. But before I begin, I have to thank a gentleman by the name of Glassfish, whose name you've probably heard in relation to other big restoration projects, such as the Brothers in Arms mod, and it was also he who did the hard work of putting all of this together and allowing me to play with the different choices and variations, for which I'm extremely grateful. Oh, and if the footage is a little poor in quality, it is to be expected since it is all played within the REDkit's preview, in a sort of debugging mode, I guess. And I did have some major hiccups with the ambient dialogue subtitles. They kept switching on and off, so I might just write them down manually. But with that out of the way, let's begin. So, normally, as you defeat Eredin, Yennefer gets you out of the ship and onto the shore, not far from the tower where you meet Ciri and Avallac'h. However, the initial intent was rather different. Geralt was supposed to be found injured and unconscious and taken back to the Nilfgaardian camp. There, he would wake up in the company of two plague doctors who seemed to be betting on his odds of survival.
I'll take that bet.
Oran, weary, Essusek Nasula, Kersen, Duvel help.
Kataath, es an Vatgern. How many fingers do you see?
Here are both ways in which you can respond to them.
5. Satisfied?
Vloe de Kleed. He's lucid.
Get that out of my face.
Vloe de Kleed. He's lucid. Completely recovered. Remarkable.
Where am I?
In a field hospital. On Unvik.
All right. Freeing up this bed.
You must not exert yourself.
Then don't try to stop me.
Es verweirig en wat gern ath braith. Ach, Grenad.
En Philippus oralus scrivin es balla es achmre. Es me ep dirslu.
Es verkreide.
En dra. Nes vios.
Esse godev? Math. Tasil tovian esse quirepclu. Evan, sabame.
En sava?
Que esse bar in kas. Ep beseta?
Like lim scheisse!
Evan vedrai. Esse quiran propar na tianges nag.
Now, once we're out of the hospital, we meet Yen, who's waiting for us.
Geralt! Over here!
And her dialogue varies based on whether or not you're currently romancing Triss.
If you've come to visit, you're too late. Just signed out.
I'm sorry. I tried to find flowers and chocolate, but there were none to be had. Are you all right?
Guess so. You?
Exhausted, freezing, haven't slept in 3 days. But nothing needs amputating, so I shan't complain.
If you've come to visit, you're too late. Just signed out.
Medics prescribe anything for your terrible sense of humor?
No, I'm a hopeless case.
Exceptionally accurate diagnosis. I'm glad you're... well. You had me worried.
Just curious. Who won?
No one. Once Crach fell, the Skelligers abandoned the battlefield. Emhyr has taken Undvik, but lost so many men in the process he'll not keep the island for long.
Right. So hundreds are dead and things will go back to where they started.
An ordinary day at war.
Where's Ciri?
What? I thought you knew.
All I know is Avallac'h might have betrayed us.
Come. Triss is next door. Let's grab her, then get the other women. We must prepare a locating spell.
She also has a unique line if you choose to ignore her and just run away.
Must you always walk your own path? Fine, I shall wait.
Anyway, Yen did say that Triss is next door, but we actually meet her on the other side of the camp over at Crach's funeral. This is because, and Glassfish will correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the placement of all these scenes is his best guess. So we are not exactly sure where these interactions were meant to take place. Anyhow, on the way to the funeral, we can interact with 3 groups of people and ask them about Ciri. The first one are these soldiers who are disposing of corpses into the sea.
Dat marve estin, es denke me?
Vis es it, dat.
Es koiep, uri fermor verda. Sin los ik hausen es fula en kaze.
Orde, es Avallac'h.
Is it true? Northern women bathe but once every 3 moons?
Can we talk?
Yes, so long as you're brief. Sergeant is watching.
Seen an ashen-haired woman?
Here, in the water. Naught but men here. This is war. There was one in the battle, but her mane was red.
Forcing women to fight? Barbarians.
A vixen. What happened to her?
When the ships locked, she jumped on board. Eldar faced her. He hesitated. She didn't. Ran him through with a boat hook. Me. I did not hesitate.
Farewell.
The second group are some veterans from the Battle of Sintra. Geralt is not thrilled by them.
Heard of the Vrijheid Brigade? Es diese Ava. Ich voet et Sintra, de linka Hjalmar. Aknath es der gelik.
Aes eb Sintra.
Aes sanes. Raik might am onder vergasseteltus.
Mind if I sit?
No, Master Witcher, not at all. Fire enough for everyone.
Vodka, though. That is a different story.
Fighting at Sintra's nothing to brag about.
Is that so? Why the hell not?
No glory in being a butcher.
They should have surrendered, not shunned the hand the Empire extended. They deserve to be punished.
If believing that helps you sleep at night, fine. Congratulations. Looking for a woman with ashen hair, scar on her cheek.
Call me a war criminal, then ask to know what I have seen. Piss off, Nordling.
Looking for a woman with ashen hair, scar on her cheek.
You speak of the one who went after the phantoms.
This again. For the 100th time, Aldrich. That was a vision. You'd been heavy.
Yeah, that's the one. Was she here?
No. During the battle, that was when I saw her. I was in the crow's nest when the sea turned to ice. Who was she?
A witcher.
And the third and most interesting group are these captive Skelligers who refuse to be bought their freedom.
Who will pay your ransom? Relations? Your lord?
Ransom? Good one. Listen, lad. You're not on the continent. And this ain't no knightly tourney. We don't expect mercy from you. And you shouldn't expect it from us.
Then you will get the axe on the morrow.
Want to talk? Got a couple of minutes?
2? Yes, but no more.
Ashen-haired woman, scar on her cheek.
You waste my time. Soldier, show him out of the camp.
Looking for her on the Emperor's orders. Was she here?
No, but should I see one fitting your description, I will report it personally.
At ease. Their ransom. I'll pay it.
You? What is your stake in this?
Don't have one. Just don't like seeing people die for no reason. How much?
Put your purse away, Witcher. Gesture appreciated. But I'll not be bought like a ram at market. Remove my shackles and fight me for my freedom. Go at it with yous with my bare hands.
You see, it's no use with these barbarians.
So long.
Foreigner, watch your step.
Finally, we arrive at Crach's body, where we meet Triss and Yen once again. The interaction is slightly different if you've romanced Triss.
Geralt, you're all right.
Frozen stiff once, almost drowned twice. Got cut up many times, but yeah, still in one piece. Crach wasn't so lucky.
Geralt, you're all right.
I hate to interrupt this tender scene, but it's inappropriate just now.
They'll pay him the proper respects, there is that. Emhyr agreed to hand over the body.
Surprisingly compassionate. Didn't think Emhyr had it in him.
He may not be the most merciful ruler the continent's ever known, but he recognizes courage, appreciates it even.
Poor consolation.
To you, perhaps, but in Skellige, a good funeral is as important as a good life.
Immediately afterwards, we meet the person who comes to retrieve Crach's body.
Gods be with you. We've prepared the body, followed your customs, your rites. We know your Jarls leave this world with gifts. The Emperor offers this sword. The wild boar of the sea was our foe, but he died a hero's death. Emhyr Emrys wishes to honor him with a last salute.
Father has his own sword. A simple one. Unadorned, no gemstones. He will wield that on his path. Geralt? You? Here? I thought you my friend. A friend of Skellige.
If Cerys is queen, her brother shows up.
We've prepared the body, followed your customs, your rites.
Step back. Ivar, John, take my father.
We know your Jarls leave this world with gifts. The Emperor offers this sword. The wild boar of the sea was our foe, but he died a hero's death. Emhyr Emrys wishes to honor him with a last salute.
Honor? He dares speak of honor! I'll take the damn sword, and vow on my dad's body I will not rest until I take your Emperor's head off with it! Geralt, what? Saw you as my ally. As a friend of Skellige.
Meanwhile, if Svanrige is king, we have the old Jarl Donar appearing.
We've prepared the body, followed your customs, your rites.
Svanrige acknowledges this gesture of goodwill.
We know your Jarls leave this world with gifts. The Emperor offers this sword. The wild boar of the sea was our foe, but he died a hero's death. Emhyr Emrys wishes to honor him with a last salute.
Emperor pays tribute to Crach, while his black-clad legions burn our villages. Follow strange ways on the continent. Geralt? Why? I thought you were a friend to us, Skellige's.
All three of them have two different reactions based on whether or not we assure them that we're still their friends. And by the way, the negative response from Geralt is pretty cool, I think.
I'm a friend to no man and no land. I'm a witcher. I'm a friend to no man and no land. I'm a witcher. I am, but sometimes you have to work with your enemies.
Farewell.
Farewell.
Go away.
Afterwards, if we attempt to interact with our Skellige friends, their ambient dialogue changes based on what we told them during the cutscene.
Esva angek kwan. Essa burschnit sperde essa naga.
Esse orde. Hevangen essa getan en jarl forklad.
Esse fior. Ke weis nois drinkva.
Kerter.
Take care of what you must, then be gone from our isles. Sorry, Geralt, not now.
Go. Be gone. Not the time nor the place for conversation.
We'll talk another time, White Wolf. Be gone. Be gone.
Barbarians.
Next up, we have Yen pulling Triss to the side, rather suspiciously, to present her with a kind of peace offering.
Something the matter?
Triss, Avallac'h's taken Ciri somewhere. We must locate her.
I understand. Come with me.
In a moment. First, I'd like to give you something. A modest gift.
Sure chose an interesting moment.
I wish to do my friend a kindness. No time more appropriate than now.
Nice gesture. Pretty unexpected, too.
Well, I too can be nice, it seems. Triss, not everything's been as it should between us. I felt a peace offering was in order.
A brooch of Kaviri silver. Thank you. But I don't have anything for you.
No matter. I don't need anything.
Yen, is something wrong? Something besides Ciri?
No, nothing. All is in order. Well, we've chatted enough. Wipe away your tears and let's be off.
That comes into play soon enough, but first we see them talking once again about Ciri and Avallac'h.
Yen, the Elder Blood. Why does Avallac'h need it? What's he want from Ciri?
I don't know. Perhaps the same as Eredin wanted? Perhaps his alliance with us was all about taking Eredin's place.
Damn it. I was so hoping this battle would be it. Would be the end. And we could catch our breath. Finally rest.
Oh no, my dear. The best is still to come.
And finally there is the Lodge. We get a little more out of them if we first visit them alone, before we've finished with Triss and Yen. Here's how it goes in that case.
But nothing is left of the school. Radovid burned the whole of Thanedd to the ground. Thank you, dear. That's plenty. All the more reason to train new sorceresses. Make it our highest priority. We are a species at risk of extinction.
Which is why Radovid must be our highest priority. No point putting new hens in the coop with a fox still inside.
Now, if Radovid was killed, Phillipa remains silent on the matter.
Yes, Geralt. What is it?
Ciri. I don't know where she is.
Again? This is growing tiresome.
Not in the mood, Phillipa. Avallac'h. I think he's betrayed us.
Understood. We can locate her, provided you bring Yen here.
Yen has searched for Ciri in the past, you see. She knows her magical signature, so...
Not interested in the details. I'll go get Yen. I'm back with Triss and Yen.
At last, confirmation of your merry threesome.
Save your teasing for later. We gotta find Ciri. Now.
If she's nearby, I should see her.
Let us hope. Fringilla, be a dear and hand me the basin.
And this is where the trap is sprung and Emhyr captures the sorceresses.
I presume all here know the Venerable Geoffrey Monk's Cantus Locali incantation.
Not everyone. I don't.
Then stand aside and don't bother us.
Quit being a diva and get to work.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Sinelehen iker, ardane aikun.
Any progress, Lady Yennefer?
We're close, Your Majesty. Tracking the Elder Blood can be difficult, but...
Continue.
I see her. She's still in Skellige. Nearby.
Somewhere on this isle.
Avelian et Seara, Ranoi ke Eskenkoi, Esvedelian Innesep Irem, Yarinain, and Shed Fortuven.
As you can see, Your Majesty, sorceresses can be useful allies.
As unfortunate,
But we kept our end of the bargain.
I shall consider it a mitigating circumstance.
No! Please, no!
Es Yaravar, es a blue even lib here, Escripse is dith over.
Hands!
They flam.
This must be a misunderstanding. Yen, tell them. You negotiated, obtained amnesty for us. You bitch. You lying bitch.
Calm yourselves, my dears. If we are to die, let us do so with dignity. I congratulate you, sister. Even I could not commit an act so despicable. Unhand me. I shall walk on my own.
Upon witnessing that, you can react in one of three ways. This here being the positive.
No other way.
No.
Merigold escaped. How shocking. One might surmise she had some help.
One might, Your Majesty, but we mustn't surmise lest we cast blame unjustly. And we mustn't forget, Triss spent the last 6 months evading witch hunters. She clearly had a teleportation spell at the ready were she to be cornered or caught.
Clearly. We will discuss this later. For now, join the search. That is an order.
And the other two are negative, the remaining silent being my personal favorite.
Heard of basic decency? Thought there might be some lines you wouldn't cross.
Not where Ciri is concerned.
Merigold escaped. How shocking.
Say something, Geralt.
Trust me, you don't want to hear it.
Merigold escaped. How shocking.
The follow-up dialogue as you walk away to look for Ciri with Yennefer also changes based both on how you responded in the previous scene and whether or not you're in a relationship with Triss.
Search the beach to start?
What's next for them?
Interrogation, torture, then death, possibly. Phillipa, certainly. I'm not proud of myself, Geralt. But as it is, I've risked much by saving Triss.
I understand. We need to focus on Ciri.
Search the beach to start?
What's next for them?
Interrogation, torture, then death, possibly. Phillipa, certainly. I'm not proud of myself, Geralt. But as it is, I've risked much by saving Triss.
I understand. And thank you for helping us.
No more. Please.
Right. We need to focus on Ciri.
Search the beach to start? Geralt, I did help Triss escape. Why do the others even concern you?
You serious? If that's really your question, no way you'd understand my answer. We need to focus on Ciri. What do you think Avallac'h wants from her?
Same as Eredin, I imagine. Search the beach to start? Geralt, I did help Triss escape. Once it's over, you'll go to Kovir, live happily ever after.
What I do once it's over is not your concern. We need to focus on Ciri. What do you think Avallac'h wants from her?
Same as Eredin, I imagine. He will use her to open a gate between the worlds.
Later on, when you part with Yennefer before meeting Ciri and Avallac'h, there is also an extra dialogue option which doesn't exist in the original game, where you basically tell Yen to just get on with it, likely being there to allow us to express further disagreement with her actions, and perhaps to even imply that we do not wish to go back to her once we get Ciri.
You must go alone!
I'll come back. With Ciri.
I know!
Agared! Tiggy! Agared!
Now, Geralt! I'm fine! Now go! And give Avallac'h my heartfelt regards!
Specifics, Yen. Will we both get through?
No! You must go alone!
Get to work.
Agored! Tirgain! Agored! Now, Geralt! I'll be fine! Go!
And Emhyr will also have a different response depending on how you reacted to his orders.
We will discuss this later. For now, join the search. That is an order.
I don't take orders from you.
You have no choice. One word and my soldiers will take your head.
Kiss my ass, Emhyr.
Este lied an skip. Order de vagetten, ledrethin I fragin.
Ja, Kerze.
Do not provoke me. Do not provoke me. I have nothing more to say. Go find Ciri. You have something to do you not? I have nothing more to say. Go find Ciri.
Right, there's a lot to talk about now, so let's get into it. First off, what the sandwich fuck is actually happening? It's not entirely clear because the data for multiple spells and animations here is missing, right around where Phillipa says that sorceresses can be useful. But from what I'm seeing, and from what Mr. Glassfish told me about it, my best guess is that Yennefer does something during the spell they cast. It would seem that the Lodge are perfectly capable of doing it without Yennefer, but they need her to participate because of her unique and intimate link to Ciri, which should speed up the process. But apparently Yen abuses her involvement to corrupt the spell or something, and to silence the magical powers of the other sorceresses, which in turn allows the Nilfgaardians to capture them. And apparently the trinket she gave to Triss earlier shields her against Yennefer's influence, and so she's able to teleport out in time.
Hands!
They flam.
Merigold escaped. How shocking.
Regardless though, one thing is certain, Yennefer backstabs her fellow sorceresses and hands them over to Emhyr. The whole thing looks like it was very much planned, and perhaps for a long time too. There is not much indication about such plans at the start of the game, but immediately after the Battle of Kaer Morhen, when, under Yennefer's guidance, we rescue Margarita, Yennefer is quite earnestly trying to persuade her that Emhyr will grant her amnesty, and that was clearly an intentional lie, at least according to CDPR's initial plans for the story.
Help protect Ciri from the Wild Hunt, and the Emperor will grant you amnesty.
I hope we can trust you.
You can.
What of Fringilla?
That I don't know, but I shall take it up with him.
You barely said hello and you're already plotting something.
It's clearly in our nature.
I hear right? You convinced the Emperor to pardon them?
Provided they help us defend Ciri.
Got a hard time believing Emperor'd go in for a deal like that.
If you can't believe it, don't. I don't need you to.
And Emhyr was definitely in it too.
What do you want?
Fringilla Vigo. Been told you promised Yennefer you'd free her.
Even Yennefer's humblest requests seem like threats. I've always liked that about her. Very well, so be it.
Truly prepared to forgive them? Amnesty in exchange for help?
I'm prepared to abide by the agreement I made with Yennefer.
Didn't answer my question.
Nor must I.
So they either planned that around the time we brought Uma to him, or way back before the start of the game. Now why would Yennefer do such a thing? Well, she's not without reasons. She has been at odds with the Lodge from as early as the Witcher books. Phillipa has always had designs for Ciri that never aligned with Yennefer's, and given how Yennefer essentially sees herself as Ciri's mother, maybe she simply wished to get rid of that influence once and for all. She may also hold old grudges against Fringilla Vigo. Fringilla blinded Yennefer in the Battle of Sodden, and had sex with Geralt on a regular basis for quite a long time, and based on one of Yennefer's responses to Geralt afterwards, where she asks why he even cares about any of them.
Why do the others even concern you?
You serious? If that's really your question, no way you'd understand my answer.
I'd say Yennefer was probably not too unhappy about the fate of the Lodge, which is somewhat hardcore. They're basically about to die, or at least it's heavily implied. Everyone except for Triss, of course, who in the end turns out to be Yennefer's dear friend after all. And Phillipa was correct when saying that Yennefer is more ruthless than herself. Phillipa has somewhat similar plans to get rid of Yennefer if she manages to gain favor with Ciri and Emhyr after the ending, but the one major difference is that she actually warns Geralt about it.
You want to take Yen's place at Emhyr's side.
And at Cerys. I think you understand it's inevitable, and I would truly prefer Yennefer to be far away when it happens. Holding her in the Imperial dungeon would be costly, and it would give the wrong impression.
Something that Yennefer could have also easily done, but chose not to, again with the exception of Triss. Now it must be stressed that all we're discussing here is based on what would have been if this content made it into the game. But it's quite clear that it was removed largely for creative reasons, as in the developers actually changed their minds against Yennefer doing this and ultimately chose to go with what happens in the game currently. So, while I do not have any connections or insider info whatsoever from CDPR, it seems like we shouldn't look at this as something that happens behind the scenes, but rather as an idea which they eventually strayed away from. And now that I think about it, there are some leftovers here and there, like the part where Emhyr mentions Triss. That always seemed a little peculiar to me. It happens during the ending where Ciri becomes a witcher, if you romance Triss. When you visit Emhyr, he casually tells you not to worry because he does not intend on pursuing Triss.
Someone's waiting for me.
Triss Merigold. Fear not. I do not intend to have her pursued. Did Cirilla say... Did she ask you to convey anything?
Which seems strange to me. Triss was helping him a week ago, so why should we be expecting him to pursue her? Well, it turns out things were meant to play a little differently at one point. So ultimately, I'm not sure how I feel about this whole removed piece of content. On one hand, I would say that the official ending flows better. Having this lengthy section somewhat dissolves the tension in between the fight with Eredin and meeting Ciri and Avallac'h. And I mean, we don't know exactly how we would have transitioned between running down the beach and Ragnarok occurring, but I doubt it would have been much different. However, on the other hand, simply leaving the fate of the Lodge hanging is not something I'm a big fan of either. I've said so in the past. If you look at how much can change during the ending, which would heavily affect the Lodge and mages in general, you know, between Emhyr, Dijkstra and Radovid ruling the north, and whether or not Ciri is alive, and especially if she ends up becoming Empress if she lives. All of these can have wildly different effects, so we needed some more content, either before the ending or during the different epilogues, that reflects all these things. And also to simply give characters like Fringilla and Margarita something else to do other than hardly anything. Ultimately, I think I would have preferred if this deleted content actually happened. Perhaps not exactly the way we see it here, but happening nevertheless. There is some questionable dialogue here and there, like calling Phillipa a diva.
Quit being a diva and get to work.
Or telling Emhyr to kiss your ass.
How shocking.
But all in all, I kind of like the idea of Yennefer betraying them in this way, and perhaps that affecting her relationship with Geralt and Ciri. It could have been interesting for sure. And one last thing, after all these years of wandering, I finally found the source of that elusive line by Yennefer: if you told her to wait for you at Larvik in Skellige, but then forgot to meet her. I don't know how many years ago it was when I posted this video, but I still remember a comment that the developers patched these lines together from some pre-existing dialogue because they had forgotten about this eventuality, but the thing is, we never encounter it anywhere else in the game.
Yen, what happened back there in Skellige?
Please, Geralt. There's nothing left to say.
Yen,
No more. Please.
And as it turns out, it was part of Yennefer's deleted dialogue where you're nice to her in the end, but still romanced Triss.
But as it is, I've risked much by saving Triss.
I understand, and thank you for helping us.
No more. Please.
Right. We need to focus on Ciri.
No more. Please. No more. Please.
Right.
So, we finally know where it comes from. And with that said, I believe I'm done for now. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and tell me how you feel about everything you saw and heard, what changes you would have made, if you could, and just anything you like. I'm curious to hear it. Big thanks once again to Glassfish for letting me play around with his work, and I do wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. Thanks also to every one of you for watching, especially my supporters and YouTube members, and until the next video, stay tuned and be good.